That's fine, yeah.
Steve, really entertaining game for the 700 plus supporters, which was good. Plenty of action. How did you see it?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. Fair result in the end, I think. They didn't really cause us a lot of problems. We let them have a lot of the ball, but they was only going across the back four, and I was quite pleased with that. And then when their deep midfielders got it, all they were doing was knocking it forward long. When we started pressing them, they started to play around us. We lost a bit of shape and created a couple of chances. But overall, 2-2, very pleased that we ended on a high rather than a defeat.
Two cracking goals for us, I thought, as well, in their own different ways.
Yeah, Mitchell's put a great ball in. Mitchell wasn't going to play today. He turned up. He's had tonsillitis since Tuesday. Had a little bit of a run, and I just thought I'd take a chance on him, see how he got on. And I thought he was brilliant. Great ball for the first goal. Got caught on the defensive side of play for their first goal, and then he's hit the free kick in the top corner. So you know he ain't done bad, to be fair.
Yeah, and so quite a nice way to end the season, although unfortunately results, although we're safe obviously, results actually didn't go for us, did they?
No, they haven't done the past few weeks, but then if I look at it, John Heath jarred his knee, Jerome had a back spasm, so they were unavailable. Tom Parkinson come back from injury, from suspension, and played at centre half. He got a slight knock on the head, stopping that one right at the end of the first half. So I've ended up playing Diokji left back, who's a winger, James Folks right back, Jack Carter, who's a full back playing centre half, and Charlie Slocum. That back four there didn't do too bad, did it? 45 minutes.
Not at all.
So it's a makeshift back four again.
Bearing in mind against a team that's in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly, and I wanted to have a look at a couple of players today as well. You know, that's why I was mixed about a little bit. And they held their own. You know, you could say Dulwich had loads of possession, which they did, but at times didn't hurt us, you know, and we was trying to force them to play the longer ball that we could deal with. I was a bit disappointed in the first half we didn't move the ball quick enough, like we did at Billericay last week, into wide areas where I thought we could hurt them. But the pitch was bobbly, it was hard. But that's for both teams. They scored a well-constructed second goal, to be fair to them, after they got the ball under control. But we dropped off too deep in that instance, you know. I want them closer to Lee Carey. I changed the system to a diamond, as we did at Margate, and I wanted the back four closer to Lee Carey. As soon as it's gone over his head, they've allowed it to bounce. They've brought it under control and put it in the back of the net, which was disappointing. But in all, Jim, like I say, makeshift back line there again. I can't be too disheartened. You know, the boys have done everything. As I said at Meet the Managers evening, they've put everything in for me. The 4 players that have come in the last month have added to what we had, and it's helped us cross the line. You know, yeah, we haven't finished as high as I wanted, but at the end of the day, we were safe going into the day's game. And what they didn't do, they didn't throw the towel in, the boys. You know, I didn't want them pressing as high as I normally do. I wanted them to play a more restricted game, to let them have the ball. Because you go chasing a team like Dulwich, they pop it around you. I didn't want that to happen. So it might not have looked good on the eye that we were sitting a bit defensive, but as I said to them at half time, all they were doing was playing across the back line, from full back to centre half to full back and back again. And it didn't hurt us. You know, it didn't really hurt us. I think they had 2 chances in the first half. So to restrict the side like Dulwich to 2 chances in the first half, probably I would say how many in the second half? Another 2. You know, the boys done well. Yeah. They didn't think that they'd done their job last week. They put in a good shift today as well. Yeah.
We're disappointed that you personally didn't get on. I know you were hoping to. We can reveal that now.
But then, I wanted to get on to end my career, but then maybe I can end it as a 40-year-old rather than a 39-year-old. But in general, I'll put myself on the bench to try and. I've never had a real chance to finish my career. At Sutton, I played some Surrey Senior Cup games and that, and I never went into the coaching side, but I've never really had a chance to end my. Well, it's 23 years now since I started playing non-league, and I don't want to go over regret that I can't look back and say, how did I end it? Well, I don't know how I ended it. I want to know how I can end it, and today was an opportunity, but then with the injuries, you know, sod's law. I could have woke up this morning and thought to myself, I'm going to go on the date for 10 minutes, but then I realised this season ain't gone that way, so like I say, maybe next year, you never know.
Never know. Never say never. I think the scenes at the end of the game, for me, indicated that there's a real feel-good factor. Yes, we may have finished in 20th spot, but the records will not look that good, but we're safe. But the fans at the end there and the players, there's a real feel-good factor, and there's a real buzz, I think, around the place for next season.
If we'd got relegated, Jim, I think there would have been disappointment, but I think the fans, how they've been, as I said on Thursday night, have been tremendous to these group of players I've got. They needed maybe a round of applause. Doesn't say a lot, but it means a lot to me that my players appreciate that. You know, going away to Leiston, going away to Grays on a Tuesday night, them sort of journeys, and there are more supporters that we take. Dulwich are a different kettle of fish. You know, I thought they were fantastic today.
They were.
But then the small band that we take, and it might only be small compared to what they brought today. It's tremendous, you know, they're just cheering the boys on, they're behind the boys all the time, and I felt today a round of applause from us to them shows a lot. It does show a lot, and it's appreciated on what they do, and that's everybody. And like I say, they're not in a position they wanted to be in. You know, I might have put a noose around my neck by saying on Thursday that I want playoffs next year. You've always got to aim for what you want, and as I said that on Thursday, if we get there, great. If we don't, then we've got to go again. You know, Dulwich, they've been building for 6-7 years. Hendon, that were in the playoffs this year, they've been building for 4 or 5 years. You know, Met Police have been building for 4 or 5 years. They haven't just gone because they got relegated and gone straight back into it. You know, so yes, as I say again to the fans, I want playoffs. Every player that comes into it wants playoffs or want to win the league. You've got to have them goals. Is it a realistic target? Yes, it is. Is it going to happen? Who knows? As we proved last week with Billericay, 3-0 up 5 minutes ago, you end up drawing 3-3 and miss a penalty with the last kick of the game. So football's a funny old game, as Jimmy Greaves used to say, and it's one of those. The ambitions are where we want this club to go. Is it going to happen overnight? I'd love it to. Will it? I'm not too sure. But I tell you what, we're going to give it a good go next year. With the backing of the board, hopefully we have a good meeting and I get the funds that I'm looking for to secure players that I want, whether they're here now or whether they come in from afar, and we'll give it a good go. And hopefully the fans will be behind us like they've been all season.
I'm sure they will. And in conclusion, Steve, I'd personally like to thank you, and I'm sure the supporters would back me in this, in saying we much appreciate the way you've always given time for these interviews after the games. Only a couple of times I think you couldn't because you had to dash off somewhere, but you've always facilitated someone to do it for me, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much indeed from me.
But without your time, Jim, and Trev's time videoing it couldn't happen, and the supporters couldn't see what we talked about during the games and after games, stuff like that. So a lot of credit's got to go to you and Trev as well, because you take your time out to do this sort of stuff. So I appreciate that.
And let's do it all the way next season.
Cheers.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers.